Jackson Hayes, I think, has been much better than most folks anticipated. And a lot of that is because it's very simple. Finish at the rim because Luka's going to find you. Give your best effort defensively. And everyone else has been able to benefit tremendously off of that.
Yeah, that's great. But Jackson Hayes is not 40 years old. LeBron James is.
This
Bobby,
is true.
You're supposed to be tired, right, by overtime when you're 40. Like, what are you seeing from this guy right now?
Dan, what I couldn't believe last night, and certainly having an upfront seat, is he guarded Karl Anthony Towns for most of the game here. He played center for most of the game. Jackson Hayes guarded Josh Hart. And I turned to a scout sitting next to me and I says, is he going to have anything left in the tank when we get down the stretch here? Offensively, certainly. And he hits those two big threes in the fourth quarter here. And he looked fresh when it got to overtime. He is defending his rear end out. He is bought in to everything that JJ Redick has installed with this team here. And that's the only my concern. Like when we're talking playoffs, can he make it through a 3-game series to get to an NBA Finals basically at that, exerting that much effort?
Yeah, Jason, I wanted to ask you because you played with Tom Brady when he was about at this stage in his career, like turning 40. What did you see from him, and does it compare to what you're seeing from LeBron?
It absolutely does, and it's the obsession with performing at such a high level and winning. And a short story, when I was in New England in 2018, Kobe Bryant comes and speaks to the team, and he talks about playing against Allen Iverson, and Iverson giving him 40. And he dedicated his offseason not just to training, but mentally. He went and read up on Iverson, read a book about him, figured out that Iverson hated authority. So he knew that next year when he played against him, when the ref wasn't looking, he was going to bump him and do all type of tactics to get under his skin. And I think about Brady and his obsession with all the small details. He would go off on a practice squad defender if he wasn't playing the coverage the way Brady was studying it on film all week long. We were in practice one day in training camp in his one-on-ones, and the first 3 reps, Stephon Gilmore goes to J.C. Jackson, then I go. All 3 of us picked off Brady. Braxton Berrios happened to be the 3rd wide receiver to go. Brady ripped him on the out route that he ran. The detail, you can respect this, of running an out route and coming back downhill to make sure you don't give the DB a chance to step in front of the ball. And that was Brady. He was obsessed with winning and obsessed with the performance out there on the field, and he brought everybody's level up around him.
Yeah, when you look at a guy like LeBron, number one, it's the physical, it's the mental capacity to be able to have the IQ about everything that's going on the basketball court.
Yeah.
You look at last night, you're guarding Karl Anthony Towns, and Karl Anthony Towns has 12 points and goes, 3 for 13 shooting. That's LeBron James, right? That's the mental from a LeBron. And my brother played with him down in Miami the year they lost to the Spurs in the championship. And some of the things that my brother echoed when it came to LeBron James is the attention to detail at all times and the communication. There's never any gray area. Either you know or you should know. That's what it was when it came to LeBron James. And I just think it's a blessing to be able to see it. I think the difference between him and Tom Brady at this juncture in their career, we're just still trying to see if LeBron James can bring another title to LA versus Tom at 39, 41, 43. Won Super Bowls at all 3 of those ages.
But I think we'll wait and see that, yes, but it's not going to be, if he doesn't, it doesn't seem like it's going to be because he wore down. And I think that's what's remarkable. Monica, this guy is obsessed with the details, obsessed with the work it takes to keep himself in this kind of shape to play these games. What do you make of what he's doing at age 40?
We should savor it. I don't know if we'll see it again this way. There are guys that play into their 40s. Vince Carter did it. He was terrific. But their roles change. But to still be one of the main engines, if not the main engine, because we know that he has actually empowered Luka Doncic to take the reins for the Lakers. I will say this, though, too, guys. I think at this point in his career, and I know we're talking about the Tom Brady comparison, and he was able to win in Tampa down the stretch, I do think there's something to be said for the connection between he and JJ Redick, who is sort of refreshing at the head coach position. I mean, he sits down for the pregame press conference and literally grabs his mic like he's getting ready to do a podcast. Like, he's honest, he's refreshing. He's obviously a madman when it comes to the game of basketball, and his passion aligns perfectly with the work that LeBron James and the way that he is able to approach it, even though the two of them have had very different careers, but their approach was very similar.
Amazing to watch it all come together, and the Lakers just keep on rolling. Much more on this. Yeah, you talk about experience, though. I mean, another unique situation, Bobby, is to see this performance at this stage of a season from a guy who's 40 years old. What are you seeing when you watch LeBron play right now at an age where most guys, can't do this anymore?
Dan, last night he played 44 minutes and he was fresh in overtime here. Certainly made those 2 big baskets at the end of the fourth quarter. And I turned to a scout who's sitting next to me and says, does he have anything left in the tank? And you have to remember, he played primarily most of the games defending Karl Anthony Towns here. And it's remarkable what he's been able to do. I will throw a little bit of caution to the wind here. This schedule that this Lakers team is about to face, they're going to have 6 games in 8 nights, including 2 sets of back-to-backs. And I think that's going to be an interesting telltale as far as where LeBron is, certainly from a physicality standpoint. But it is remarkable as far as what he continues to do. And he's not just playing, he's certainly playing at an all-NBA level.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what he's doing. J-Mac, you played with Tom Brady in New England when he was 40 or beyond and still winning titles. What do you make of this when you see this happening? What does this tell you about the guy?
I think from a physical standpoint, it talks about the obsession and the sacrifice to play at such a high level that both of these guys have had to go through. We talked about in the last hour about almost being a psychopath of the details to be able to perform at that level. But I think another part of it is the mental aspect. I looked at Brady. You think about it, the COVID year, we're all in the locker room, and I'm 10 years younger than Tom Brady, and I can remember having to get tested every day, and we had a trailer in the back of the parking lot, and when you'd go in, you'd have to confirm your birth date. So I'm in there, and I'm 8/13/87, and then you hear the guy next to you, and he says the year 2000, and you realize how much older you are than the guys in the locker room. So for Brady and for LeBron, being able to continue to relate to these guys year in and year out, and being a leader in the locker room, like what are they talking to the younger guys about? LeBron's purchasing teams and doing crazy business deals, and you have guys that are 21 years old, 20 years old coming into the league.
His son is on the team.
Yes, it's insane.
For real, like his son is, I mean, it's amazing. LeBron James, I always say, like one of the rare things in sports or the world, lived up to the hype and more. Like he was supposed to be like the greatest player of all time, and he's still doing this at 40 years old. What do you make of it?
So I'll go to the physical, the diet, the training, the money spent on his body. That also says that you're committed to your craft. And you said a key word, sacrifice, right? That's sacrificing a lot. And sometimes family plays a part in that too,
Absolutely.
right? Because in order for you to be this great for this long, your family sometimes have to take a back seat. You want to know who I learned that from? Tony Gonzalez. And that's one of the greatest players to ever play the game of football at one of the highest levels. I would also say this. When you look at a guy like Tom Brady, the attention to detail at all times, the urge to want to win, the urge to want to be great. Deion Branch, who played with Tom Brady, was a Super Bowl MVP at one point. I remember asking him, I said, hey man, what did Tom do to make you step up your game? And he was like, it's not what Tom did. It's the way Tom carried himself every single day that made you not want to let Tom down and make you want to up your game. So just that presence of a guy like that, and LeBron has that same cachet. My brother playing with him, Tony Douglas down in Miami, just the attention to detail, the excessive communication at all times to make sure that everyone was on the same page. So unbelievable by both guys, and I'm gonna tell everyone listening right now, embrace what we're seeing from LeBron James.
Yeah.
Embrace it.
No doubt. Absolutely. Monica, I mean, you talk about the experience. Yeah, go on. Go ahead.
Well, I love what Harry said in terms of not wanting to let a guy down. And because I think, particularly when you see Luka Doncic strap up and keep a guy in front of him in the fourth quarter in the overtime last night, like we know he is a tremendous competitor, and that side of the ball he's continuing to grow on. But I think what Harry hit on in terms of not wanting to let LeBron down, the roster is so unique in that you've got a brilliant first-time head coach. You've got a bunch of guys that are in their 20-ish range, not super seasoned in the NBA, but I wouldn't call them rookies. And then you've got this superstar in Luka Doncic. But all have been able to pull in the right direction, and that is because of the presence and the impact of LeBron James, for sure.
Bobby, put a button on this for us on the ageless wonder LeBron James.
Well, here's the thing, Dan. I said this earlier in the week. When I was in Brooklyn in 2013, I remember after the season, we sat around the conference table and we had a discussion. This is when LeBron was in Miami. And we said, how long do we think LeBron can play at an MVP level? And the consensus was 2 to 3 years. Dan, that was 2013.
Yeah.
That was 12 years ago.
Bobby.
And you look at what he's been able to do right now.
unbelievable. It really is. I think Harry put it very well. Let's savor it. Let's enjoy this, and I mean, just remarkable to see. Hey.
How's it going, everybody? Villa Sports Network here. Just want to thank you guys for your support on the channel. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope you all enjoyed it. I also want to kind of remind you to don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on the video if you like as well. But regardless of the fact, thank you again for your support, and hope to see you on the next video.